guys. We'll take questions for Leroy first, please. Can I ask, do we have any German questions today? Are they all in English? Okay, well, we'll take questions for Leroy first, and then questions for Pep halfway through. We'll release Leroy to his TV.
Good afternoon, Leroy. First of all, the big issue in football, obviously off the back of what happened at the weekend and the abuse that Raheem Sterling received. As his teammate, how has he been this week? And also as a player involved in that game, how bad was the abuse from the stands from your point of view?
Obviously, I think it's kind of sad that this happened still. Obviously, we all supported Raheem and we're on his side. But like, he's a strong guy, good guy. He knows how to handle it, and like, he's not letting him down from this like kind of more stupid stuff. And he's still focused, still want to play good football. Like, just keep focusing on the next game tomorrow, and I think that's the most important thing.
We often sit here and ask your manager how he manages to keep you happy with the squad rotation, in particular the forwards. I just wondered, does he manage to keep you happy as a forward who has to inevitably compete with players like Raheem and for those positions?
Yes, I think I'm like, even if I'm not playing for a certain time, I'm still happy to be here, to play for this club, to work with these players, with the coach, and like, he's doing it good. Like, every one of us like knows that he have to rotate it sometimes, because we have like in every single position, like, more than one or two players, good players playing. So obviously there's like a time too where you then don't start from the beginning, and I think you have to accept it. And I think it's also kind of good to put on everyone more pressure then.
Leroy, Simon Stone, BBC. Could you just talk us through how this season's gone for you? Because obviously you had the disappointment of the summer missing the World Cup, and then it was a bit of a slow start City-wise, but you seem to have found your form over the last few weeks.
Yeah, at the beginning I wasn't playing that much. Obviously I had to find back the way how I play, like that I'm performing like consistently and like also good, and then have to show that I'm ready and can do it. And I think now I found the whole way back, like, to play, to be in a good form, and I think I just try to keep going on with that.
People are making a big deal about what happened on Saturday just because it's so unusual for Manchester City to lose a game. Do you feel as though as a team you're playing as well as you were last season when you won the title by such a big margin?
I think it's obviously kind of disappointing for us that we lost there on Saturday, of course. But I think it's also good to learn out of this game. Especially, like, it was a big game, and then we know all these big games, like, if they're happening small mistakes, like details, like, then you get punished. And but I think every one of us like knows what to do now, and still like full of hunger, and to keep going on and to get the next points and to be again top on the league.
Leroy, obviously it was the first defeat of the season in the Premier League for Manchester City. Can you actually use that now as a motivation going forward to ensure that nothing is taken for granted? There is absolutely no complacency.
Yes, of course. I think now everyone is like still before, really motivated. Now we're not first anymore. Now we're like second, and now we want to go back to on top to be in front of Liverpool, and this is our target.
Leroy, your teammate Ilkay Gundogan has spoken about suffering racist abuse while playing for Germany before. Do you think the problem is worse here in England or on the continent in countries like Germany? How do the two places compare when it comes to tolerance towards non-white players?
I don't really want to compare it where it's like more worse. I don't really know it even, like, where it's more worse, like, because honestly, like, it didn't really happen to me since now I'm playing in football, like in the professional one. So I can tell, like, it never happened to me here in England, and never happened to me in Germany. So like, I can tell where it's more worse.
Hi Leroy, you've also become a father this year. I just wondered if that has had, what impact that has had on your life and how you see football after it.
Yeah, it's feel good. I'm really happy right now, especially because of my daughter. It's really nice. Obviously now I have to do more other stuff. It's not just football anymore, but like I'm happy about it.
Again, more for Leroy. Okay, please.
Hi Leroy, there's been quite a lot of talk about a possible new contract for you at Manchester City. Could you tell us where you're up to with that, if that's a possibility?
Yes, of course. Because I played from the beginning. I arrived here. I'm really happy. I enjoyed a lot to play here with the coach, with the players. They're all amazing, but like most important, they're all amazing people, like good characters. I feel really home here from day one, and then of course it's possible.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Leroy.
Good. Thank you.
Same as before, guys. If I can see a show of hands for the mic, can you give your name and organisation for your question, please?
Ben Ransom, Sky Sports. Pep, good afternoon. Can you tell us how Raheem is this week? How's he been?
Well, a little bit concerned what happened, but quite good. We saw the day before. Yesterday I didn't see him. He made a statement from Twitter or Instagram, I don't know, Instagram. So it was quite clear about his thoughts.
He's spoken about the personal level of abuse that he's received, and I don't know if you heard what Gary Neville said about his experiences during Euro 2016 when Raheem Sterling had to go and speak to Gary about the abuse he was getting online and in the stadiums. Has he ever had to come to you to talk about the abuse, be it personal or otherwise?
No. No, personally didn't speak, but these are issues in our lives.
And just one on the game as well. Obviously, you're already through into the knockout stages. How much of an opportunity is this for you to maybe rotate the squad? Because, of course, as we know, at this time of the year, it's very difficult in terms of the number of games that you have to play in a short period.
We have 15 players available, so rotate it. I cannot do it too much. So tomorrow I have 15 players, and we're going to, of course, in a real tough game. We are in the next stage. That's important, and we want to win the game too, because we have every game try to win it and to finish first, just for the fact, to finish first, because we never know. So it doesn't matter if you finish first or second. Last 16 is always tough. Have a little bit advantage for the second leg to play at home, but in general. In the next Monday will be a draw in Champions League. The big successor will be there, and the team we're going to face will be tough. So the point is you have to play and read which game we're going to play tomorrow. Again, Hoffenheim. When yesterday, one of the most incredible games I ever saw in the last years as a manager, as a spectator, against Shakhtar Donetsk. Like, was incredible how they create, how they did it, even when 10 players more than 30 minutes and they lost. It was incredible. So it was fascinating watch that game like a spectator, and my admiration and my point of view about Hoffenheim is increased. I knew it before I played there because I was in Germany. I knew for reference about Julian Nagelsmann and his team, but immediately I realized how tough would be and will be tomorrow.
Pep, Dan Rowan, BBC. Just returning to the issue, I know you're restricted by what you can say because of investigations that are going on, but Raheem made a general point about his belief that he thinks that negative media coverage of young black players is partly to blame for alleged racist abuse at matches. Do you agree with him?
It's everywhere. The problem with the racism is in everywhere. The people we focus in football. It's not just in football, unfortunately. If it was just in football, we'll be safe. But the racism is in everywhere. What happened today in immigrants and refugees all around the world, how we treat them. When once in our lives we were refugees, our grandfathers or great-grandfathers and mothers were refugees. how we treat the societies. Unfortunately, it's in everywhere. That's why you have to fight and every day. They don't have to be tolerant zero about that issue. I appreciate what Chelsea did. What happened in my club, we should do the same. So we have to fight, but strictly, for the human rights, from everything to make a better society for the future for everyone. But today we are in danger, but not here in England, in everywhere, absolutely everywhere, in all across the Europe. And the message for the politicians today are really, really tough about the human rights. So, and you have to defend, you have to protect our democracy in the best way.
Are you proud of him for having had the courage to speak out? Because it's not common to see English Premier League footballers make statements like this. It's got people talking. It's quite rare. Is it a good thing that he's done this?
Leroy said perfect. He's an incredible person. Raheem is an incredible human being. So it's tough to understand today, you know, what happened years ago about the position for the whole history, about for the black people. So, and we have to protect them. We have to protect how equal we are all together. So it's tough to understand in the 21st century still to be in that position and to be a problem to accept the diversity like a power position that helps us to be better than everyone. So that's why the sport is amazing, because you live with different people. My kids go to the school with the different Indian people, for black people, from normal people, from everywhere. And today this kind of thing may happen. Then we have to defend. We have to defend and have to protect them.
Steve Scott from ITV News. Pep, do you think that Raheem generally attracts more unfair criticism than many others, particularly in England? And if so, what do you put that down to? Is it about the colour of his skin?
So really, I don't know. Really, I don't know. So I arrived when I arrived there. I spoke with him especially, and I know he was so active in social media and Instagram and Twitter, these kind of things. And I said, try to protect your life, your private life, be outside of this kind of situation. And he did it. I think he's less active than he was young. He's more mature on the pitch and off the pitch. He has 2 kids, so I don't know really the reason why. Hopefully it would be a criticism if we play shit or play bad. That would be perfect. So everybody's exposed on that. The manager, the football players, and everybody around of this world were exposed. But just for the color of his skin is right now is really is ridiculous. So that's why everybody, you have to make the effort to protect that situation.
And us in the media have that responsibility too?
Sorry?
And the media has that responsibility too?
Of course.
Does it take it seriously at the moment, do you think?
Of course. Everybody and everywhere. Of course. Of course. The media has the responsibility to write something wrong or write something you can offend or something like you create a conflict. Of course. Today the real power in the world is the media, not the politicians, not the governments. It's the media. It's a real power today in our society, and that's why you have responsibility. Of course you have.
Just behind you, please.
Hi Pep, Andy Hampson from the Press Association. You say you've only got 15 players available there, so clearly you've got some issues.
Dino's notable, David Silva's notable, Kevin's notable, Sergio still not, Danilo's notable, so 15 players.
David Silva, what's the issue there, and how long are you expecting him to be up?
A few weeks.
Jamie?
Hi Pep, I'm Jerry Jackson from The Guardian. Just because you said a few weeks there about David Silva, what's wrong with him, please? Because that sounds quite serious.
Yesterday was in last game. Sorry, it was substitutes, and for a problem, muscular problems. It's not too big, but it will be stopped for a few days, few weeks.
Okay, thank you. And do you think Sergio might be back for the weekend, Sergio Aguero?
Maybe has a chance for the weekend. Yeah.
Can I just ask you about the Atletico Madrid midfielder Saul Niguez? Is he a player of interest to you?
Well, if Manchester City have interest in 125 players in the last day, so
I'm asking you because you wouldn't know.
One more. So sometimes I read Pep Guardiola's interest in this player. Still I didn't know him.
But do you know this player, and do you like him as a player then? Do you think he's a good player?
He's a fantastic player, but we are not interested in him because it's an Atletico Madrid player is going to stay there for a long, long time. But he's an exceptional player.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Next one. Is that it?
Done? Oh.
Okay, one more.
Pep, have you seen any difference in your players the last few days after suffering the defeat to Chelsea?
Yes, yeah, they had day off. So the day after we training, a little bit more sad than usual, but that is normal when we lose. But believe me, the unusual is not lose a game. The unusual is the last 15, 16 months what we have done. That is the concept, the problem to understand the situation. So the big, they lost again. No, that is the normality, the usual thing. The non-normal thing is the last 50, 60 months, the amount of games we won and the few games we lost. And maybe it's going to happen too. After the defeat in the way we lost the game, I don't have any argument to say something negative to my players. Of course, never will do it here in the locker room. If they give me this opportunity to have regrets about they compete, we'll be in a good path. Maybe we're going to lose one game when we are not like normally we are. But reviewing the game like we saw, it was incredible the good we play, considering the huge talent and huge quality of the opponent they have. So we make an incredible first half, and except 18 minutes because we have a little mistake in our movements defensively, the rest of the game we play in courage. But football is what it is. So sometimes you have to accept it, improve on that, and improve because the 2 goals we can avoid it, especially the first one. We have 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, and 3 mistakes, and after against good teams. They score a goals because when action defensive you can make 1 mistake, but normally making 1 mistake you don't concede a goal. But if 1 mistake, 2nd mistake, 3rd mistake in the same action against good teams, Champions League teams like tomorrow, like Chelsea is a Champions League team, always we concede. But okay, it's part of the process and we try to improve.
Pep, Simon Stone, BBC, people make such a big deal out of it because it happens so rarely, you losing a game. Do you think that it's possible that you could go this season and only lose 2 or 3 matches like you did last year, or do you think that that is really impossible because the standard is so high?
Yeah, but you have to try. You have to, believe me, to try and to learn to understand for the whole history reviewing that believe me, we are able to win a lot of games, but we are able to lose a lot of games too. So the people ask me after what would happen if Aguero would have played or Kevin De Bruyne would have played, these kind of players. My answer was, I don't know. I don't know what happened with this player was available to play. I can assure you it's the same. I can assure you tomorrow you are able to win. And even after that with Everton and after in the Carabao Cup and Leicester and the Crystal Palace won, I cannot assure you. But the people presume or that what we have done in the past is going to happen in the future. So not all the teams win every season, not all the teams win every day, not all the teams every week. So the most value things is the fact that we won a lot for during a long, long time. And you have to try to continue. When you defeat, you have to see, we lost. Okay, compliments, congratulations for Chelsea. And after that, what we have done to lose that game, or what we have done to try to win that game. That is our duty, what you have to do to speak with our players, what we have done. That is the most important thing. What we have done. We were what we have done. They crossed the half once in the 44 minutes in Stamford Bridge, Chelsea. When Kanté Jorginho ran 30 kilometers, like it's so difficult to find because they move so quick in front, in the shift across, and find the space is not easy. And when this happened, I give credit from Chelsea, a lot. Big manager, big players. And it was unbeaten two weeks ago. So we play against tough teams and also have to view how good they are. But when I saw my team with the courage they play, with this my dream to play in that in bigger stages, especially in Champions League away, and do what you have to do, that is when I want to see my team. But after that, when we miss the chances in the first half, when we concede one shot on target, how we react after 10 minutes second half, we were there. In the last minute, Gabriel shoot a goal when Kepa make a good save. We make a press in the 3-3 in the last 89 minutes, being there to try, don't give up any moment during the 90 minutes. So it's enough. It's enough. So maybe we're going to lose again when doing that. Now we'll have a problem with my players. Now we want to speak seriously about them. But what's happened is normal. I said after the press conference, in all the sports around the world, all the big athletes, the big teams, lose games. It happened 2 centuries ago. It happened in 2 centuries away. So it's normal. It's just to read what happened, accept the situation, and move forward. Maybe it's going to help us in the future, or maybe not. I live my profession in that way. So I'm happy when I win, but be calm, because always I see something is not good. And when we lose, shit. Okay, we're trying again, but also there are good things you have to do it. What we're not doing right now, what I will recover the injured players. That is what I want. With 50 players, we cannot survive in that league for a long time. That is what I want. But after that, it's part of the game. It's not a big issue. It's not a big problem.
Pep, just one final one from me. You've spoken in the past few weeks about the difficulty in keeping young players here like Brahim Diaz and Jadon Sancho, but then this week Phil Foden has signed a new long-term contract. So how much of a statement is that from you that there is a pathway for players, if they're good enough, from the academy to the first team?
Well, my statement is I'm delighted, I'm happy. Would have been our desire that Jadon stay here, Raheem will stay here. That is was our wish. With Phil, we convinced him, and because we believe it's something unique, a special player like is Jadon and Brahim, and nothing. Keep going, work. In like 5-6 years, will be with us, and we're going to help him for our efforts to be a better player, and he's going to help us a lot to be a better team, because he's an incredible fighter, and as a Manchester City fan, and that's why we are, in our fans, ourselves, and himself. Yesterday I saw her mother and father. They are happy as well, so the perfect deal. So congratulations for the club and for himself. Okay, thank you.